Welcome back to another review, this time for the anime Secrets of the Silent Witch, which had 13 episodes and was airing in summer of 2025. Synopsis from AniList. Monica Everett, the Silent Witch, is the world's only practitioner of voiceless magic, a veritable heroine who single-handedly fended off the Black Dragon of legend. However, the young prodigy is actually super duper shy. Yep, turns out she only learned voiceless magic to avoid speaking in public. Ignorant of this, the 7 sages have placed her on a top secret mission to guard the second prince. Can Monica keep it together as she contends with both social interaction and the evils targeting the young royal? In this story, we have Monica Everett, which is the brown-haired girl in the middle. And at the beginning, we see her in her little hut being quite happy. She lives a very isolated life. Apart from some social interaction once a moon. However, because she is one of the 7 sages, she sometimes has to do some bigger jobs that other mages could not do. As example, which is stated here, the Black Dragon of Legend, or being a guard of the second prince. Now, she is super duper shy, which is also stated here, and a mega introvert. She is so not used to social interactions. The whole point of the voiceless magic is, in other shows you have like, oh, they are introverted, this is a flaw, they try to get over that flaw and, grow. And she just went, how about I don't do that and just speak less? And that is how she more or less got to be able to use voiceless magic. Now, in the show, she is trying, she's growing. There's a lot of character growth going on here. She is trying to get more, comfortable with social interactions. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. However, one of the jobs she gets is to guard the second prince. So she has to go to school, which is not an ideal environment. It's like, you need to get rid of the social anxiety and introvertedness, but instead of slowly getting used to it, you are just being thrown into the water. You're being thrown into the swimming pool, go swim. This is naturally not going too well. Now, in the season, we get to see some, some plots being used against the second prince. However, we don't really get to know too much about those, because at the same time, we also get to enjoy some daily lives of our main character and how she gets used to this new environment, maybe make some new friends, and generally try to be less introverted. Overall, I really enjoyed the show, especially the later parts. There were some very great scenes in the show. Animation, very nice. I like the magic, the show of magic. It looked really, really good. I like the character designs. The story, seems similar to other stories. However, I do like the characters a lot. I like our main character, Monica. I like her a lot. I can, see where she's coming from, similar to like Bocchi the Rock. I also like the blonde girl, which is called Lana. In my opinion, she's one of the best characters in the show, just because of the very beginning. I already told that in the first impression. because Monica is arriving at the school. She's introverted, not really able to talk to people, always second guessing, putting herself down, not having any confidence. Now Lana approaches her and she tries to get her to open up. She's like, hey, where are you coming from? Or, what are the trends? She's trying to, strike some girly themes or, gossip. Tries to get something along those lines to connect. So she's like, hey, what is your new lipstick? And, what are the fashion trends where you're coming from? Now, Monica is not that receptive, which prompts Lana to just swap. Now she's going, hey, I'm from here and there, the newest fashion trends where I'm coming from. She is now, the one talking and trying to get Monica into a more passive position. Maybe she enjoys that more. Now Monica still unused. Lana then tries, the last approach, which she goes and gets a little bit more intimate in the sense that she's now touching her hair. She's, trying to, I believe at the time, comb her hair or something like that. So that is like her last approach, which I like. This is rare in shows that you have a character that tries to approach someone, and if that doesn't work, they try a different approach. That is very rare in shows. And here we even have a third approach after the first two don't work. And after that, you can clearly see she's somewhat, I wouldn't say sad, but she's a little bit down that Monica seems to not be willing to engage with her. Now there are some other things going on which you could see why she may feel that way. Also, Monica at the same time always putting herself down, in that scene at least. And I really like Lana, one of my favorite characters. The second prince we also get introduced to, I like him too. He is not a shallow character. He could have been just a shallow, oh, he's the second prince, oh, yada yada yada, I don't know, fight for the throne, whatever you want. But no, he seems to have more going on that we are not privy to, which is very interesting. He's a pretty self-sufficient man, even though he seemingly knows that his life could be in danger. And I like him a lot. Naturally, he does have somewhat of a princey theme. He's good looking, he has that aura, he's that, he's always all the time he has that more or less high noble appearance in how he walks, talks, and generally is in the environment. And he is also surrounded by other people, which is one of the parts that we get to see because Monica has to protect the second prince, goes to this academy. However, she does not know what the second prince looks like. So we have that looking forward to. Now, I do not want to go too much into it. I feel like if I continue, I'm just going to talk about the whole show, which is not the point. We have a lot of funny parts of the show. We have some action parts. We have some interesting, intriguing parts. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you do not like the main character, you are not going to like the show. Straight up, because she's the main focus. She is going to get better. However, it is going to take time. And she's not going to magically change 180. Because this is more or less a headcanon, because we don't really know too much. but she does have a somewhat checkered past, if that is a real saying. And in my opinion, she, as a child, was a lot more open and extroverted. However, of what happened, she, decided to retreat into her own shell. So that is why she is now introverted. That is just my headcanon. I don't have any real evidence for that. But that is, I believe, what happened. Now, do we get to find out all the stuff in the past? No, maybe at some point in the future. But that is interesting. There's a lot of stuff still in the air. What is going on with the second prince? There seems to be more going on in general. What is with Monica and her past? What is with one of the 7 sages? I forgot his name, Mr. He reminds me of Ferdinand a little bit from Ascendancy of the Bookworm. And his familiar, question mark? If you can call that a familiar? What is going on there? We also have not seen most of the 7 sages. There is a lot we can still enjoy there. It was a really enjoyable show, and as I said, a lot of stuff we can still get into. Again, if you do not like the main character, you are not going to like the show, I believe. So then, better off to, just drop it. Otherwise, definitely a show you should have on your radar. Ratings wise, any list 80% to 81. My anime list 8.15, 45k votes. So a lot of people watched it and voted, and they voted pretty well. So take it as a measurement. I would say a high 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed the show. It is not able to get into my 9 out of 10. I just am unable to give it that extra bump. However, for me it was definitely a high 8 out of 10, especially the last episodes brought it back up again. Definitely recommend it. If you do not like the character, again, you may not like the show itself.